Observatory, sharing experiences and insights on matters of spirit, philosophy, and creativity with your hosts, Nelson and Cynthia.
Welcome to the very first episode of Observatory. I'm Cynthia and I'm here with Nelson.
How you doing, Cynthia?
Pretty good, thanks. I'm excited that we're here doing this. This has been a long time coming, so I'm pumped that we're here right now. We're up in the Bronx.
Yeah, in the South Bronx, recording this little pod.
All right, so I just wanted to give a little introduction on what Observatory is and what we're doing here. And the reason why we're doing this is hopefully to inspire people through conversations with people, to find out their thoughts about life, about creativity. I'm under the belief that we're all creators in this universe, so we just want to share little tidbits on how we can be creative in our lives, how we can stay motivated, how we can inspire each other. And I'm excited to see this flow and evolve through time. This is our very first episode, but as we progress, I'm excited to see where it goes.
Certainly, we've already had a few little technical hiccups, but that's part of it all.
It's all part
and
of it.
we want to share with everyone, and each one that listens offers something to us, and by the guests that we have on or things that we talk about, we're looking to share with community and like helping people develop their own ideals and goals.
Yeah, and one of my thoughts on life is that life is about giving back, giving service, and just wanted to take the time out to do something outside of my creative stuff, and hopefully just inspire people, talk about things that maybe other people aren't talking about, or just to inject some positivity into the collective consciousness.
Sounds good.
So each episode we're going to have a theme or a loose idea, and today's episode is on motivation, staying motivated. And I thought of no one better than to talk to Nelson today about this, because he has been super inspiring to me to stay motivated. As our friendship has developed over the years, I just find myself being more and more inspired by you. So
you know the feeling is mutual. You know that. Thanks, Cynthia.
So I'm excited for you to share with other people how you stay motivated, how you keep the fire burning inside, and how you might deal with things that pop up along the way that other people will also experience, but how you deal with it, because it seems like even though you have your ups and downs, you still manage to keep going, keep creating, keep doing stuff every day, and having a positive mindset, which is what this is about. It's about learning lessons, taking from the situations that we're in, and trying to be the best that we can.
Exactly.
All right, so do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah. Well, my name's Nelson, and I do music and writing and workshop stuff with kids, and I perform under the name Nelson Dialect. So and I've been making hip hop and doing music since I was 13, so 28 now. Been quite a while, and pursuing something creative and art is my passion, and sharing it with people. So I guess that's a little brief intro.
Yeah. And how do you think that, so I know that you do music, and how do you think that has sort of intertwined with your everyday life, like in terms of your own life philosophies, like how you live your life, the way you look after yourself?
Music tied in with my life philosophies. I guess it's trying to dovetail all my actions, anything that I'm thinking about or considering in my life, whether it's what I eat, whether it's the people I'm hanging around with, the information I'm consuming, trying to make sure that it's spilling over into my music. So it all plays a part in each other. I don't see it as some separate thing, like I'm hopping out of and hopping into one suit and in another. I see how much it affects one another.
Yeah.
So I try and keep those in balance.
For sure. And what I love about like music and your music in general is that you're talking about your everyday experiences, like your life in your music. So of course they're going to intertwine. Do you have any rituals, any everyday rituals that you do to set your mind up for positive thinking?
Positive thinking
or just to stay motivated? Do you have any rituals?
Yeah, for sure. Aside from too much coffee, I probably could really peel that back. That's not the healthiest ritual.
No.
But I do enjoy that ritual. I like to be grateful for stuff in the morning. So just say some things that I'm grateful for in my life, like very simple. I think that just sets the mood well for the day. I like to make my bed. I know that sounds very basic.
No, I do the same as well. Yeah, you have to have a clean environment for your mind, I feel.
A clean environment. Yeah, I try and keep my space pretty clean. Like I remember watching a YouTube video from an army sergeant that said, the first task is to make the bed, because at least you've accomplished one thing, even if the rest of your day doesn't go your way. It's like you set the tone. So I like that approach. And same with dusting or cleaning the house. I like that approach to the day.
For sure.
I feel like it feels like you're sort of renewing, because each day is new. And then
it also, I think, sets up a discipline in your thing, having that action that you do every morning, or making that bed or dusting or whatever. It already mentally in your mind is setting up your brain to be like, all right, this is what I'm going to do today.
Exactly. It sort of sets because the mind can just want to do the laziest or thing that it makes it chill and makes the day. But I think, if you set those things into gear early, like you said, it's you're on a good path. So there are a few rituals that I like to get into, burn a little incense. Nah. But I do, I try and just be thankful in the morning, and then I go in up and down with the exercise, but I try and do some exercise, even if it's just some push-ups or something, to just be exert a bit of energy, get it moving.
For sure.
Yeah,
your body needs to move, get the energy flowing, I think, in order to be at its best state.
What kind of rituals are your rituals?
Yeah, I do gratitude. In the mornings, I write a little gratitude list of the things that I'm happy about. They could be tiny things, they could be big things. I try and also vary them so they're not, obviously I'm super thankful for my family, for my cat, for doing what I do, but I try and think of new things as well to keep sort of my mind on its toes, and so I don't just fall back on the more obvious ones. And then I do a little yoga in the morning. I do a little meditation, but it changes as well on what kind of, depends on also how I'm working. Sometimes I work from home. I have more liberty
for sure
to take the time, and other times not. So I might be on the bus, just doing some little affirmations or something.
You can be mindful anywhere you go, right?
Yeah. Do you have any evening rituals?
Evening rituals? I like to read before bed. Try and minimize the phone use before sleep, at least 20 minutes before, half an hour. It should be more, but I think you actually told me about sleep hygiene and having the room, I never have the laptop on for an hour before bed. That's the aim.
Mm-hmm.
But usually I'm up doing emails and that, and I'm just sort of, my brain just reaches a point where I'm stop working on what you're doing and go to bed,
And we've spoken as well in the past about how, I have my sleep hygiene routines. I put my aromatherapy. I've got my little eye mask called the Mindfold.
Oh yeah, I love the Mindfold. I do meditation as well. I try and do in the morning and night. Yeah, someone taught me to treat it like the sandwich of your day. Like
Oh, that's nice.
the bread at the the top and the bottom, and fill your day with whatever. But if you do a little bit of meditation, even if it's 5 minutes, if you don't feel like you're doing it right, it's fine. It's like just the act of like giving it a shot and just trying to quieten your mind.
Yeah,
is beneficial
for sure. And what I was about to say is, like I have these rituals. You sound like you have your rituals. But then there are times when, like recently, I've gone through a stage of just going to bed at 3:30 in the morning. Like,
yeah,
like even though sometimes things go off kilter or not quite to routine, I kind of just roll with it and then eventually reel myself back in, and
that's a good
not
way
be
of putting
too
it.
hard on myself if I like stay up. And also I feel like creative people kind of stay up a bit later anyway.
I think that's a good way to put it. Like reel it back in. Like don't be too harsh. Like obviously my rituals, I'm like well intentioned with them, but yeah, by the nature of my work, sometimes I'll be out late, super late, a few nights in a row, and I'm not getting the ritual in, or I'm not waking up when I'd like, or I get inspired and I'm working on something and I'll stay up all night. But my intention is to have like some discipline, because I don't want to be just some off the wall like artist guy, man. I don't even know what's going on. Like I'm just working, I'm just creating, and I feel like discipline is important.
I guess it's like a blueprint, like a plan that you try and stick to.
Yeah.
But at least there's some form of plan, and it's not just like free flowing whatever.
Mayhem. Yeah, because I think you need to allow space for both when you're creating. Like it's all good and well to be like creative flow, mayhem state kind of thing, but without the discipline, I feel like it can be all over the spot. Like a friend of mine who was Funkwig, this incredible musician from Adelaide, put it a great way to me when I was younger, saying that it's like when you have a magnifying glass and you know the sun's shining through and you can wave it. I'm waving my hand here in this, realizing it's a podcast, but you can wave it around in a room, and it's going to create like a pretty
the rainbow.
The rainbow, the light's going to look cool, and you're going to be like, wow, bedazzled for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I just said bedazzled.
You did it.
I did it. But he said to me, but when you hold it still and firm and let the light shine through, it creates fire.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I thought that was such a good way of saying you need to focus,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where, if people ask me, how do you get so much done or that? I'm like, you just got to have discipline and you got to have discipline with it or things don't get done,
Yeah, for sure. I saw something with Will Smith recently that said that he's like maybe slightly above average in terms of talent, but what has made him successful is discipline, is like his work ethic apparently is outrageous. Like it's making sure, and it's like in a way that magnifying analogy could be like could be explained in terms of don't get too distracted by the colorful lights, by the little shiny things.
Yeah.
Like at the end, know your goal, or know like what you're working towards.
Definitely. And like many people, I'm not saying everyone's Will Smith. Yeah, he might have some more natural talent, of course. Bad Boys, classic. But I truly think a lot of people have like talents they don't know of yet, or they haven't even tried, and it's that comes from discipline. You can tell Will Smith he could have kept rapping, his whole career. Like that's what he did first, but something in him drove him to want to act, and you can tell he put the time in. It wasn't just like the scripts fell into his lap. He would have put the work in, and I think all of us. It's easy to say, but I think everyone can push themselves to potentials they don't know. You see that naturally when you take up a new skill.
Yeah,
it doesn't. It just takes the discipline.
For sure. And just following on from that, what do you think led to having the mindset that you have right now? Like that mindset of discipline, that mindset of wanting to achieve to work towards your goals. Have you always had that mindset from birth, or was there a particular time and moment, or is it just a collective experience?
Interesting question. I think I was always really driven. Yeah, I think it came up from growing up with older brothers and like an older family. I was like quite a bit younger than my bros. And so there would always be their friends around, and it was the fact of like I had to compete when we were playing basketball or video games. So I always had this kind of like, go for it, keep up with them, keep up with the older guys. And then when I got into music really young, I was around older people, and it was like, show them, like it's kind of came from that feeling of like, you got to like show them, you're younger, there's that thing, that chip. And sometimes, chips on your shoulder or like feeling like you need to keep up can be motivation and helpful. And I think it helped instill that mindset in me and just to keep going. I think a lot of friends got it from doing sports, like team sports. I know friends who did club basketball, and I think they gained a lot from that discipline, like, and I did play sport, but I was more into like that other side of it. So luckily, I think I learned the discipline and that driven thing from wanting to rap well, battles and stuff, and like showing your kind of that young bravado thing. And sometimes it can burn you, but I think thankfully I was able to understand the lessons from it and just channel it in a healthy way. It wasn't always healthy, and still like to this day, like I wanted to say that at the start, I'm not like an expert on any of this, or like I'm learning from everyone and anything. And same with my experiences with music or that. It's like I'm still, we're all learning.
Yeah, exactly. And that's good. You're always a student of life.
That's it.
Never stopping. And you were telling me about that guy, the army guy, and how does physical exercise or sort of impact that as well?
For sure. I mean, and to be honest, like I've always struggled with weight. Like when I was young, I was definitely overweight. As a kid, not crazy, but I was, I was overweight, and I was, I think that played a lot into my confidence and deciding to get through that and get over that. And I think that's definitely something I've carried with me in my whole life, like, whether subconsciously, and I'm working to get over it, but it's like that feeling of being like the fat kid or like not confident. And so, the more I've gotten into exercise, I still want to get, like, even this year, I'm like, no, you got to get more in shape. But I feel like we were talking about the physical aspect of using your mind and doing training is so important, because when you use your mind, when you're using your mind for creative things and you think you're pushing it, it can be good, but the results can vary and are subjective, and they don't always show themselves necessarily.
They're not as obvious.
That you're progressing. But when you use your mind training, it's like at the end of when you train hard, like you're tired, you're sweating, you've like exerted the energy and you feel it. And it's like, I think it's an important thing, super important to try and like exercise, work it, because it just builds the mind. And I feel like it makes you more focused going into your creative life, because depending on what your intention is with your music or your art or what you're trying to do creatively, you got to have like a strong mind, because
for sure. And it's all connected as well. Like your body, your mind, your spirit. Like if one is not working well, then I don't feel like you're going to be at full potential with your other thing.
Totally. You would feel that in how you approach your work and doing like.
Yeah, well, I just feel like I always need to stretch and go for a walk. I feel like going for walks have been a game changer for me. I've always gone for walks in my life, but recently I've started like every day going for a walk to the park around my neighborhood, and it just makes me happy. Like I just
for sure
you clear the mind. You listen to good music, and
big walks are so big in my thing. I do a lot of my songwriting walking, because I just like. You feel like you're moving forward. I feel like it's forward progression. you're in the open. It's like one foot in front of the other. There's something almost symbolic about it. Yeah, like whereas at home, sometimes when I'm in my room, I just feel a little like trapped up in there. But walking,
and getting fresh air, getting the heat from the sun.
Walking's good. Go for a walk. I hope you're walking as you listen to this.
Yeah, that's nice. And just turning the conversation a little bit, how important do you think it is to have goals? Have like specific goals?
Yeah, goal setting is super important. I think it's maybe the most important thing, goal setting, because it trickles to all these other things we've talked about, When I have a goal at hand, it gives you reason to go to train or to be disciplined or to have your ritual. And with that goal that you're working towards, it gives your life a purpose. And as long as the goal is positive, I think, or like isn't something insane, like, I don't know, having a goal provides some focus and in your life. And otherwise, what are we doing? I get a little itchy if I'm not working on my goal. Yeah,
for sure.
I'm sure you feel that.
Yeah, well, I've had a slightly different experience up until now. I'm a Capricorn. I've always been like go-getter, like working towards my dreams and I guess my goals. But I never really. I had like one or two goals. Like there was a goal for me to move to New York to do what I do here. And that happened and that's great. And I was pumped about that. But I haven't until recently like made specific goals. Like, okay, I want to do this. Like before I was more free flowing, but I've noticed since I've really sat down and been like, okay, and it's not just creative stuff, like creative stuff as well. Like, I do design and animation, so I want to do more VJing. I want to teach myself the software of doing that. I have Zona Mind, so I'm wanting to, really create something out of that. But also just personal goals, like getting better at guitar, getting better at drums. Like before, I didn't really have those goals. I've been playing guitar since I was, 16 or something, but without the goal of actually getting better or to progress in any way. I haven't really progressed. I've just sort of been playing the same tunes, emo tunes since that age. So now having goals of like, okay, I'm going to learn these amount of chords, or I'm going to learn this thing by this time. It's just, I guess it sounds so obvious, but I never really fully structured my goals until now, and I see that now there is a excel in progress.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, like the fact that you apply it to your personal life is, it shows that trickle effect, I think, of like setting them in your creative life or your personal. But like, I think having goals full stop with whatever you're doing just gives like, it's more intention driven, rather than I'm just gonna like do whatever or go hang out with friends, or it's just like it's a healthy ritual to have, like.
And I came up with the realization, and I don't know if this is super obvious for people, but for me, I was like, okay, I've had my professional goals, and I'm a designer, so like I can design whatever, as a graphic or whatever, but you can design your life, like. You can have your...
I like that.
I was like, what?
Design your life. I like that.
Like I even did a video once for something called Design Your Life, so I'm not trying to claim that as mine, but like it didn't even register in my mind what it was talking about. I thought it was just a design book. But you can actually design your life by setting intentions, by having these goals, like personal goals as well as professional goals, and that leads to like how you take care of yourself, the foods that you're eating. Like if you want to design your life to be healthy, to be optimum, to travel when you're older, to have kids even, or whatever, you can work towards those goals by looking after like taking the steps necessary to get there. So eat better, form a relationship, like good relationships with people, like live a full life.
It's a decision, for most people. I think for most, sometimes we're in situations that aren't ideal, and a lot of people are, and there's no doubting that. So, you can't paint everyone with the same brush. But I do feel like for a lot of us in the West, we are lucky to have, a lot of free will, a lot of decisions, a lot of things that we make those choices, and it is what you end up seeing.
And everyone has so much potential inside themselves to do these things as well.
So much. Everyone has like incredible potential, and it's all part and parcel. Visualization.
How important would you say like having a circle or like associations are for keeping motivated?
Yeah, I think association's the most important thing, almost. I think I would put it as the most important. Well, along with your mind and like working on your mind, but the mind is so easily affected and swayed by its surroundings, and it will cling. Your consciousness will be affected by what you surround yourself with. So, like they say, you're the sum of the 4 people you hang out with the most. And I definitely believe that. You can look at anyone. Like minds attract like minds, and that's natural. And people are going to be friends, but I know I like to keep a circle of friends that push me and like are honest with me and want me to do a lot, to do better, to do more, and to not be stagnant. And maybe that's just because I want that for my friends. So it's like, it's crazy how by nature they kind of like line up into your life, and sometimes that's a hard thing to admit, that maybe my association isn't helping me, and in turn helping them. Like that's like, if you love someone enough and you are a friend and the association is not doing either of you a favor, you got to like cut it loose. And that can be a hard thing to do because we get into routines, and it comes back to the rituals. These are all tied. The association is kind of just clicking in my head, but it's like, you ask about the rituals and then the goals, and then how important is discipline. When your association isn't right, your goals are blurry, your rituals are probably not the most healthy, and therefore your discipline is gone, and then what are you working on? Ultimately, you're just existing due to association. And look, I'm not trying to be like judgmental at all, and I'm not saying it's not right to just chill and have like a fun time, because I like to hang out with my friends too, but not too much. Like I make sure that we're working. Like I have friends that I do hang out with and we're just chilling, but for the most part, my tight friends, like we're all trying to push each other to do something, because I think that's the gift. That sounds real corny, but it is the gift of life. It's like we're here to
for sure.
We're here to offer something, and
we're here for a purpose. And if you have a collective of people that are like working on each of their own purposes and also helping you achieve your own purpose, like that's really beautiful. Like, and you need that. Like, I definitely turn to you or to other people when I feel like maybe I'm giving up, or maybe this sucks, or maybe whatever. You need to share that with people, and they help you build you up again. For sure. I get that from you, like 100%. It's like you're always like encouraging, and you're always creating something. That's what I love to see. And isn't that what relationships and friendships are? That I feel like truly they should be about that. Totally.
And no one, you can't be, if you're trying to take someone away, like idle, if you're trying to spend idle time, like kind of like those, they gravitate to each other, so people who are like maybe not getting everything done will gravitate to those who want to help. The denial from a distance. Let's just hang out all the time, let's just chill, let's just like watch the game, let's go out, let's party, and it's like week after week after week after week. God, these are my friends. Well, okay, they're your friends, but I feel like friends will want to see you further yourself.
Yeah, I'm just thinking as to the people I associate with, and or what I try to maintain is I have friends that give me life.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, I know that sounds pretty corny too, but when you're working on your creative things or when you're talking about something, you can feel it in your heart. Like,
oh, definitely.
Like life. That's the purpose of life, is relationships, working on yourself, and helping each other to also realize that full potential, realize that life.
100%.
Just like closing up a little bit, but we still got a little bit to go. But I just wanted to quickly touch on purpose. So I know we've touched on it, like as we've been speaking, but what gives you purpose in life?
Oh man, it's like it's big question. Trying to serve others, like, is a big one for me. That's really the main thing, I think, is like making music is cool and like it's fun to do shows and all of that comes with it. You know, sometimes you can, your ego gets stroked and it's like people tell you you're good and da-da. But ultimately, if people message me and say like, this really helped me, you know, through a situation, like that's kind of like really grounds me again and just reminds me that, you know, the purpose is beyond me or like the ego or something that I can feel from like what might come with the idea of being creative or an artist. Like, I think a lot of people get caught in these worlds of like the cool, like, and that's all right. If that's your purpose in life, then, you know, then good for you. But I feel like the deeper purpose is to like offer something to other people and try and like be of service, you know, and to help improve other people's lives, and in turn that's improving your life, you know, because you learn more from doing something in that energy than just being driven by like something else. Yeah, is that how? I don't know. How would you feel?
Yeah,
about
no, purpose. I guess I agree with all of that, and I feel the same way. But on another note as well, purpose for life is like what you give purpose, the meaning you give. Like, so with your music, I'm just saying, but with music, maybe you're giving it meaning, you're giving it a purpose, sort of. I don't know how to explain it, but life is what meaning you give to it. You know?
Exactly.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So with my design work, for example, the purpose behind it, and purpose also for me helps me to stay motivated. If I know that the purpose is to give people a certain experience or communicate a certain message or a certain feeling, that is a meaning that I'm putting towards my artwork, and it's also helping me realize my own purpose.
Yeah, and then it can never, unless you get into the dumps. But I feel like if those other things we discussed are kind of solid, and your purpose is that, I mean, you can't really lose. You know, I can't lose inspiration for that purpose. You know, it sounds like it might be cliche, but I mean, how can you, unless you like suffer? And I understand, like, sometimes you go through down. I'm not always feeling like this. Don't get me wrong. Like, I definitely go through ups and downs, and you have self-doubt, and you get mad, and you feel like, no, I'm gonna like, or you get mad and you feel like, no, I'm gonna turn to the other side, or F all this, or like, what's, you know, like. But
how do you talk yourself out of that or get back on track?
I think I try and just acknowledge that it's there, like, and not try and bottle it, or like, you know, and try and move the body. Like, if I'm feeling like that, I'll definitely go for a walk, a stern walk, you know, and like. And
I guess, like we were saying before, turn to your association.
Turn to your association. Call you know, you don't want to burden your friends with your BS either. That's another big one of mine. I try not to. Maybe to my detriment, I probably should call on friends, you know, more. But I feel like, you know, if I'm feeling in that mindset, just turn back to the rituals, turn back, just, you know, get out of your mind, you know?
Yeah.
Erykah Badu has a cool song where she says, I'm out of my mind just in time. And like, I heard her say in an interview, just like, get out of your mind, you know, just in time before you like let it take a hold of you. You know, sometimes you just got to step aside a bit and not let those thoughts fester or like, and everyone has their own approach to that. And I want to hear how people deal with it because it's what we're going through. That's mental health. It's not.
And absolutely every single person goes through it.
Yeah, everyone. How would you?
Just a lot of like self-talk, like convincing myself that
keep it together.
Pretty much just keep it together. But I think I realized now what I was meaning as well with the purpose situation before is I also think that a purpose in life is to know yourself.
Yeah.
To discover your true self. So even those times when I might be feeling not great and I'm just like ready to give up, that's part of the purpose. It's you're learning about yourself. You're learning what can I take from the situation? Why am I feeling this way? What can I do to change that?
Exactly. That reveals yourself.
Yeah.
In those moments, you know, like that's when it reveals where your intentions are at.
Exactly.
You know, so that's a really good point. You know, knowing yourself and creating yourself like in the same point. It's like not letting someone else's idea of you like stick to you or like
not worrying about that.
or letting your association make you who you are or what, because you hang with this group, you've got to be to their like everyone's their own thing, you know.
And to have confidence in that's something that's taken me a little bit to realize is just being completely confident in who I am, like no matter whether like what stuff comes within that, you know, the good, the bad, the way I deal with this or that. At the end of the day, like this is who I am, so that's that. Like
for sure, and doing it, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
What would you say to people that don't have a great group of friends that are like pumping them up, supporting them, inspiring them? How can they go about finding that, or what can they do if that's not readily available?
I think you need to be real, like just be really, really real. Not with them, you don't have to confront them, but just with yourself. Make a pros and cons list, you know, how are my relationships affecting my life? Where do I spend my time? Like this is valuable time on planet Earth. Like maybe you like them, you know, and then you're just like, I want to chill. But if you are more inclined to have like something else you want to do and you feel like you're not fulfilling it, and maybe you feel like it's your association that's involved, then, because I love all my friends and I even feel like I need to chill on hanging out, because it's like the reality is things don't get done when you're socializing all the time. Like you have to sacrifice time. And when I feel like when you take away something that's like a distraction, you need to, you don't just remove the thing, you supplement it with something positive. So if you are not going to see your friends when they're all partying, get in the studio, like create, read, study what you're trying to do, like look at your business model. If you want to start a business, like spend that Saturday night that you would have spent 6 hours out and doing whatever, spend that time working on what it is you want to do or working on yourself. And like I can't stress enough that people will show up in your life who are feeling the same way. And you know, it's amazing how it works. Like I don't know what it is, but it's like I've just been so fortunate to, you know, because I did sort of not party or go out in the prime time of when you do, you know, when I was 18 and that, because I was, just weirdly driven for like wanting to do music. And there were times where you just felt like, man, like really, like I'm just like gonna like not go out and party and like drink, but the universe just provided these friends who felt the same way, and like we're at home on the weekend making music, and I was just like, oh, I don't have to worry. Like you don't have to worry. You're not gonna like, and if they're really your friends, they'll love you still, and you will still be able to meet at some point, but you just have to be real. And I'm definitely rambling on about it.
No, but that I feel the same way. I believe the same thing. Like the universe always sends you someone. Like once you let go of those ties, and it's not like you don't necessarily have to let go of those ties forever, but just like people come in and out of your life according to
for sure
to whatever, you know. So it's just about taking a little pause, figuring out what's good for you, what's best for your energy, and then just having trust that people will come your way once you have that certain energy going. Then, like you said before, like attracts like
exactly. Even if they don't
show up,
even if they don't be attached to the idea either. Just like be so. Yeah, you gotta take it. It's a leap of faith. You gotta really trust what you're working on and what you're trying to strive for, and just have that faith. You know that it'll be cool, but don't be like attached to the idea of the payoff. Yeah, like it'll pay off. You know, just by doing it.
And you could take advantage of that time by yourself to figure out, you know, to learn more about yourself, or figure out, like when you're quieting your mind, when you have a bit of space to yourself, you figure out yourself more. And some people are scared to be by themselves or spend even just a little bit of time with their thoughts. But we have so much knowledge and wisdom inside of us that if we don't have that quiet time, we don't listen to it. We don't even realize it's there.
Exactly. No, that's so it.
All right, so we're going to wrap this up now, but I'm going to do some little quick fire questions.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. What's one piece of advice you'd give to your younger self?
Yeah, I would say just enjoy what you're doing, and really just don't think about what everyone else has to say. You know, just like enjoy what you like creating, and take those risks, and like you learn from them in time. Like don't be so stubborn, like you're afraid to not be seen, like you don't know what's happening. That I think the best thing is to just like go into stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm. What's the last book you read or a reading that you would recommend to people?
Well, I just started a couple. So the David Lynch autobiography, good filmmaker, and he's definitely someone who's dedicated his life to like the art life, you know. So I'm getting a lot of valuable stuff from that. And then this other guy, David Goggins, he's like this Navy SEAL, intense dude.
That's who we've been referring to.
Yeah, with the army guy. Yeah. And that's called You Can't Hurt Me. And that's really inspiring, you know, like for focus.
Mm-hmm. And what's the worst advice you've gotten?
Ooh, the worst advice I've ever gotten. I think really like I've had so much bad advice that it's like hard to pinpoint. And the bad advice that I see is just coming from people's limitations on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff is the worst advice, because you can catch yourself doing it to other people. And that's like the most poisonous thing you can do to someone if you're trying to help them grow or like see things through, is like seeing someone else through your limitations. It's like, nah, like everyone I meet is infinitely like has infinite potential to do anything, you know.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to put that onto other people.
Yeah, you don't want to put that onto other people. So like I can't, so much advice I've gotten over the years, I can, you know.
In terms of music, like specifically music? Or?
Specifically music, particularly because I was coming up young, and there was a lot of older people who were like, I think just, you know, thought he's this young guy, like we'll laugh him off, like, you know, in a way. I'm not being jaded, but I'm just being honest. Like people did try and take advantage, like, of business situations, shows. You know, I think my youth in coming up in music really young helped me like sort of sharpen that and see when people are just trying to like put their limitations on you. And yeah, some people that, you know, they'd say, I'm making underground hip hop, or you can't do it, or, you know, like you're not gonna, you need some other thing, like some, and I'm like, all right, so you just don't think I can do it, but anyway.
But yeah, I heard something yesterday. It's like people will people will just project their fears on you, but also like if they haven't realized something, like it happens with parents sometimes, that if they've not realized something in their life, they'll just say it to you because that's what they've learned and that's their experience. But that doesn't mean anything. That means that you can break out of it, you can change it, you can choose whatever.
Oh, exactly. A lot of us are repeating. We're just we're just parroting ideas. And not actually like experiencing them.
What part of yourself are you working on right now?
I'm working on that core, that six pack right now. No, I am working on my health. I think that's a big focus this year, is to like actually get in shape and like, really commit to that. I mean, there's so much to work on. Yeah. I've got a lot to go.
No, that's good. And finally, what happens when you die? What do you think happens when you die?
Wow, I think I do think the soul is eternal. I think where our consciousness carries on somewhere, where that is, I think where that is or where you go, whether it's reincarnation, a different planetary system, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my hunch. The possibilities are endless, but I feel like, I didn't have the same body that I did when I was a baby. I've clearly grown, same from when I was 17 or, so you can see the body changes, but my spirit is here, it's, so I really feel like I'm not the body, if that's my feeling.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like according to your consciousness and what you've done with your time on earth, and that'll likely dictate where things go. If they do, I hope they do. I hope it keeps.
I think they do.
Yeah.
I have confidence. So
I got confidence. I'm betting on that. I'm betting on that. You know what I mean? I'm not betting on the lights off, nothing happening. That would be, I don't know, it wouldn't be a spark for me creatively.
Well, hopefully there's like a DMT experience, tunnel light situation, and then
no demons are there.
Right. So is there anything else, any last words of wisdom or advice you'd give on motivation or anything I didn't ask you that you want to say, mention?
No, I think just keep keep learning from everyone, see the value in like what everyone's offering, well, if it's valuable, but use your judgment to see if it's valuable. You can learn from anything and keep the discipline there, because motivation isn't always there, The main thing I think is discipline and arriving to do the work, especially in a creative field. You just got to be disciplined and grind it out. The inspiration and the motivation will come in its spurts, but it's not like I'm running 24/7 on motivation. I think it needs to come from like a drive of a mindset. So yeah, that might be it.
Cool. And you're about to go on tour. Where can people find you if they want to check you out, find out more about you?
Yeah, just Instagram Nelson.dialect or Nelson Dialect. I'm out in the World Wide Web. You can catch me.
www.
Thank you, Cynthia, for your...
No worries, thank you.
And I will be interviewing you next.
Maybe. Thank you so much for taking this time.
Yeah.
And hopefully people at home got something out of it too.
For sure.
All right.
Thank you.